Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel Achieving Alpha. And in this particular video, I am going to talk about how I accurately predicted the rally in second half using price action and option chain analysis. So around 1 p.m. I posted this particular update and where I suggested you to exit your shorts if you haven't yet because I exited my short positions by that time because I was expecting a short covering rally to come up because the European markets were opened in green and the US futures were also positive. And I also saw some minor correction in USD INR. And I told you that if you don't exit these shorts which you have created, you can at least trail your stop loss. That's always a good idea whenever you are doing intraday trading because it will only take one big candle to ruin your profits and convert them to losses. So, what were the reasons due to which I exited my short positions and I basically suggested you to do the same? Let's have a look at those. So, I'll be basically talking about five reasons. We'll be having a look at the charts and we'll be analyzing those. So the first reason is basically price consolidation for too long. Whenever the price is basically compressed for too long, so if I change this to a 15 minutes chart, you will see that from 10:15 a.m. roughly about 1 p.m. or basically 1:30 p.m., that is till the second half of the day, the price was consolidating in a range between 14,350 to 14,460. And whenever such things happen on expiry, that till second half, not a significant movement has occurred, there is a very high chance of an explosive move on either side. Now, this explosive move could be on either side, and the reason for the same could be either because of short covering or because of long unwinding. Now, I have talked about what is short covering and what is long unwinding in a lot of my previous videos, but I will just explain what happened. And basically, you will see that as and when Nifty broke this particular range, that is a 15-minute candle closed above this particular range, and the high of this particular range was broken, of this particular candle was broken. You can see the move for yourselves. And this was expected, and that's what I told you. So let me show you the option chain, and we can have a good look and analyze how things went and what was the reason behind this. So this was the option chain for today, and let me open this first for Nifty and then we'll talk about Bank Nifty as well. So what happened was that at some point 14,500, the call option open interest was basically roughly about 6.5 million, which is a lot of contracts. So what happened was that at some point or the other, these people who have shorted this particular call will start booking profits. And you imagine that a huge quantity call option has been sold, and when you want to basically square off that trade, you need to buy call option in a large quantity, and that's what will push the markets up. And that's why I say that if till the second session there hasn't been a significant movement, there is a very high probability of an explosive blast on either side. And you can see that the blast occurred on the upside, and that's what I mentioned. This was for Nifty. Similarly, if I talk about Bank Nifty, and another thing is which you can check here is the volume. So if I show you the futures chart and the 130 candle, you will see that the volume was slightly more than the previous candles. So that was another reason, or that was another confirmation. And usually a good breakout, what happens is that it closes above this particular resistance and then it retraces and then it takes support from here, and that's what you saw. And after that we saw an upside movement. Similarly, if I talk about Bank Nifty, so on the option chain, the 32,000 strike price, the call side, it had an OI of roughly more than 2 million, which is a significant number in Bank Nifty. And similarly, when those people will start booking profits, we will see an upside in Bank Nifty as well. And that is what we saw. And what happens is that some people start profit booking, the index starts shooting up. As and when it sustains above 32,000, the people who haven't really booked profits till now will also see some losses because their sold call option will become in the money, and now they will also start panic exiting. And whenever such panic exit happens in a large quantity, you will obviously see an upside in the index, and that's what we saw. Again, Bank Nifty was not able to close above this particular resistance and was trading in this consolidation zone. As and when it closed and it broke the high of this particular candle, you can see the move for yourselves. And we even closed above 32,000. And that's what I mentioned, that a short covering is possible. So be careful and be watchful. Another point is that the global sentiment were positive, as I mentioned, and the opening of the European indices, all three, that is DAX, CAC, and FTSE, looked very positive and very strong, and the market was looking for triggers. So if you see, the market reacted badly to the rise in COVID cases So yesterday we saw more than 2 lakh cases in a single day, which is not good. So the market reacted to that. But what next? The markets cannot keep falling just because it is COVID. Of course, the situation is getting worse day by day, but that was incorporated already, and the market was looking for a trigger, either on the upside or on the downside. The downside fall had already occurred because, as I mentioned, the news was incorporated in the morning itself. But the strong and the positive global sentiment gave us the trigger, and that's what made us go upside. And next point was basically that the USD INR also saw some profit booking, and we broke the day's low. So basically, the price at which the USD INR futures opened, that was the same as the opening price, and we basically broke that particular low, and that's what triggered another good fall in the markets. Because I'm sorry, another good rise in the markets, because when the USD INR will fall, it's obvious that Bank Nifty will go up, because both have an inverse correlation, as we have already seen. The last point is the gap filling theory. So basically, when we open gap down the day before, this particular is a huge gap, and basically the markets will try to fill this gap. So am I turning bullish from here on? No, absolutely not. The situation is not good in India. The COVID cases are rising. The economy is not that great. The inflation is rising, and everything doesn't seem to be that great for us. So I really think that the markets are going to fill this gap, and then they can resume the downfall from there on. But this gap filling will happen, and that's another reason that we can see some more upside, particularly till 30 to 350, and after that you can create fresh shorts, but of course with hedging, because the markets are very volatile. Talking about Nifty, so this particular gap will be filled roughly around 14,780, and 14,880 again happens to be a very strong resistance, because we have taken a fall from that point multiple times. But the moment we go to 14,780, and basically this band between 14,780 to 14,880, that's where you can create fresh shots. And again, I will repeat that do this only when you are doing proper hedging, because anything can happen in these markets, and these are the peak of the volatile markets. So you should be really careful when initiating any particular trade, especially if you're carrying an overnight position. Do ensure that you hedge your position correctly and your risk is defined in advance. So I hope you learned something out of this video. Particularly, you learned about short covering or long unwinding, and why, if you see a silent expiry till the second half, you should refrain from selling option, or basically you should not do naked option selling after that, because if that move comes against your direction, it can cause you heavy losses. So I hope you like this particular video and gained something out of it. It was relatively a short video. If you do, please consider pressing the like button. And if you're new here and coming here for the first time, subscribe to this channel for more such content. Thank you so much for sticking around till the end. Take care and bye bye.